Hi Earthlets, Thrill here reporting from Space Station Veldspar, and welcome back to the PlanetSide 2 Novice. Today's entry focuses on the Infiltrator and my progress as I learn how to play PlanetSide 2, so load up your holo display and grab your favourite soy-based snack and let's get started. In shooting games, I've always had a natural inclination to play the stealthy, long-range and lone wolf oriented classes. I enjoy sniping from a mile off, and I love sleuthing around the environment with a cloak trying not to be found. At times it's almost as satisfying not engaging an opponent as it is going in for the stealth kill. There's something about knowing you've outwitted an unsuspecting player without engaging them at all. Sneaking around them, observing what they're doing. There's a sense of gratification from being able to move in and out of cover and toy with players at your will. The flip side to classes like the Infiltrator is not to play the sneaky harasser, but rather to play the range game, sniping from far away with a high-powered bolt-action rifle and a high magnification scope. It's very fun, but it's also very limited in the ways you can contribute to your faction or to the most immediate objective, whether it's capping a base or pushing enemies out of your territory. More often than not, I found I can do very little sniping from a distance. Whether it's input lag, or server lag, or just enemies moving too fast on a horizontal plane, it becomes tedious and difficult sniping from anywhere further than a couple hundred meters. That's why when looking at the Infiltrator I decided to fly in the face of how I would normally play, which is to perch up a mile off with a 12x scope and pick away targets without thinking about much else in the way of friendly objectives and progressing on the map. It's a nice, easy way to play selfishly, and I wouldn't say that's necessarily a bad thing, it's just not the most productive route you could take. Instead, I had a look at what was available to the Infiltrator in a more medium to close range environment. Luckily, my newfound interest in the TR led me to throwing some certs at a nice bolt action rifle, only to find out the largest zoom scope available is actually an ACOG-like 4x zoom scope with a plain crosshair. This, to my surprise, turned out to be great for me. It offered a nice middle ground between being the lone wolf at range and being close enough to where I can deploy motion sensors and spot people more accurately and for longer, to the benefit of my teammates. While it's difficult to master close range sniping, it was definitely a lot of fun and still has a lot of room for improving as I unlock more appropriate equipment for my Infiltrator. Another option, and my favourite thus far, is to run with a silenced SMG. I decided that my time with PlanetSide 2 had been so enjoyable that I'll dump a little bit of real money into the game, something I don't often do for free to play games. The main reason for this, aside from wanting to spend money on a game I enjoy, is that it would allow me to unlock an SMG a little bit quicker than usual, rather than saving up 1,000 certs. And in doing so, I would unlock it for all of my characters on that account. I actually plan to talk more about spending money versus certs in another video, but for now, I only had to spend about £2 in order to grab an SMG from the fresh meat pack on the PlanetSide 2 store. After I grabbed that, I threw on a suppressor and a grip and I went to work. This was a hell of a lot more fun than lone wolfing at range, and it plays so well into what I was saying at the top of the video, sleuthing through enemy territory and picking them off one by one. Surprisingly, the TR's second weapon, the Repeater, is great with a silencer and a laser sight. It has a burst fire mode, and the time between bursts is low enough to where it acts almost like an automatic pistol that's easier to control. This led me to the conclusion that instead of having one Infiltrator loadout dedicated to close quarter stealth, just by dropping the Repeater onto every loadout with a suppressor and the laser sight, at a moment's notice I can go from long to medium range sniping to cloaking around mere meters away from enemies and taking them out with my pistol. Overall, my time with the Infiltrator these last few days has been some of the most fun and most cert gaining time I've had with PlanetSide 2, and I'm confident Infiltrator will become one of, if not my sole main class, once I'm more comfortable with other aspects of the game. Next episode I'm going to take a look at the Heavy Assault. I'm undecided on whether I want to do anything with the Max just yet. I may leave that until later when I start looking at vehicles, seeing as the Max lies somewhere between infantry and armour. But until then, thank you all for watching, and I'll see you in the comments.